All right, here we go. Chad DeVoss.
Hello, everybody. Are we rocking? Are we ready? Yeah. So, I'm Chad. A little bit about me. I am white and male. That's what we got so far. I want to talk to you today a little bit about the evolution of a beer geek. And I'm not so much going to tell my story because I don't like telling stories. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we can be better beer geeks and not be terrible people. So your first gateway beer that you had that was probably a Hunker's Ale or a Two Hearted or whatever it was, it brought you into this great state where you're like really happy and I loved you. And whenever I meet these people, I'm like, oh, I want to put you in my pocket. You're a fuzzy baby duck. And you don't know anything about all of the depth of beer until you become this horrible sophomoric person who thinks they know a lot about beer, but they actually don't know anything about beer. And then they say things like, oh, I drink Heady Topper all the time, but they don't actually even know anything about it. They say terrible things. And so if I can impress upon you, it would be, don't brag about beer. It makes you sound stupid. As you develop your palate, you will kind of become either a hop head, or maybe you'll go into sours, and our friend Levi over there makes awesome sours, so you should think about drinking those if you can. But a lot of people become style specialists, and they kind of go from one thing to another, they kind of go from one IPA to the next, and they kind of, feel it out, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I want to kind of get into everything. I want to feel all of these beers, and they become craving for knowledge, and they're like, yes, I want to homebrew, or I want to become like certified in this. And so all of a sudden then they go down the homebrew path, and they walk up to the homebrew shop, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy some hops, I'm gonna get all into this, and they like learn about beer, and that's great. That's great. You should all absolutely do that. Or go the Cicerone path, where you like get certified and you learn to pair beers with other things, and whatever. The best thing about learning about beer is to get into the ingredients and to be able to identify those flavors and really enjoy it. The bad things about beer are being a braggart or just a prick about what you have and what other people don't have. And so that, if anything, tonight I can impress upon you is to stay away from those kinds of things. Beer culture, like any other culture, has a lot of subcultures, and so currencies have been created on those cultures. There's the untapped type of person that's like constantly got their phone out, they're checking in. I go 2,500 check-ins, I'm elite. And they, walk away. There's the kind of person that collects beer, and that's their currency. They got cellar whales. Whales are beers that are really scarce, and I got so many cellar whales. Or they're making lots of trades, and they're seeking constantly these whales, these beers that are really hard to get. And what that creates is it creates a lot of tension between the people that have and the have-nots, and so it's not really the full bourgeoisie proletariat thing, but it's really like you have these kind of dicks that have all this beer, and that's all they want to drink is these whales. So as you traverse your craft journey, and you go through and you learn to trade with other people, you get the beers you want to get, you start to accrue a wider palate. You've tasted the treasures that the world has created for you in the craft beer world, and you have this refined palate. You're really tuned in. You become one of two things. You become a curmudgeon, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna chase that beer. I'm not chasing this. I'm not chasing that. And that's where a lot of us end up, because that's the alternative to becoming the worst person imaginable. The icon for craft beer is this neckbeard Hill Farmstead shirt wearing guy that hates everything. And it's better to be the old curmudgeon than to become this dick that just chases and hates everything and never likes anything. So if I can impart upon anything upon you tonight, it would be become an old curmudgeon, become a smelly old person. And thank you.